So go to page 20 now, and I would suggest you have some like a colored pen or something that helps you out, because we're going to fill out one of those charts that you see on page 20. Okay. Some definitions. So I will also tell you that amortization tables are also referred to sometimes as payment schedules. Right? Payment schedule, like it tells you exactly every payment, how much of that is going to go towards interest and how much of that is going to go towards the principal. Okay. So some definitions here. Amortization, the amount of time required to pay off a loan. That's basically what it is. Time required to pay off a loan. So your mortgage is amortized over 25 years normally. A house is over 25 years. Cars, 5 years for us is going to be the highest, but it goes all the way up to 7, 8 years for new cars. Okay. Principal, the amount of money borrowed or borrowed, not including interest. Okay, that's the principal amount. Some formulas that you will need for this, and they're somewhat repetitive, like we've already looked at that, but monthly interest, previous unpaid balance, times interest rate divided by 12. So this is basically the same one, and I will go in interest rate, I will divide it by 100, just so you know, it's the same as the one I gave you, interest for the first month. Okay, so there it is. And that, if you recall, this formula here is the interest equals principal times rate times time. I equals PRT. I don't know if you recall that from grade 11. Not a big deal if you don't. Monthly principal, it would be the payment minus the interest. So basically here, I would just want you to, the monthly principal, right, the MP, right, is going to be equal to the payment minus the interest you've paid. Okay. And you can also, from this, derive that the interest you pay every month can also be obtained by taking the payment and subtracting the monthly principal from it. And I will explain to you in the chart how this goes, right? I'd strongly encourage you to have this on your study sheet, like how to fill out one of the charts. Unpaid balance is previous unpaid balance minus the principal. So these are formulas that you're going to need for an amortization table. Okay. So have your calculator ready. Okay. So I'm just going to give you some hints. This should help you. Okay. The monthly payment on a chart like this will always stay the same. Okay. Maybe will I put it there? I'll put it, sorry guys, I'll put it right here. It'll stay the same. Okay. The monthly interest you're paying over time will decrease. Okay, so this number should slowly go down every month. Money towards principal, that goes up. Because these two make up your payment. So if one goes down, the other one has to go up. And the unpaid balance is what you owe that will also go down every month until you get to 0, right? Because that's still what you owe them. So this I refer to as payment. This I refer to here as just I. This I refer to as the monthly principal. And this is just unpaid balance, right? There we go. So when you start one from scratch, you need to start off with the payment. So look at the question here. Jamal purchased a vehicle for $12,000. Doesn't say before or after tax, so don't worry about adding taxes here. He had to borrow $10,000 at 4.25% over 3 years. Complete the amortization table below. So we're going to figure out the payment here underneath. Okay, so we're going to come up with payment in this case will be the $10,000 you're borrowing times, like if you need to figure out the payment from scratch, you take the loan multiplied by a table rate divided by 10,000. So you go to page 14 and go match 4.25%, right, with 3 years. You should get a number there out of that. And that should be 2969, right? That's what you should be getting. That's from page 14. Right, page 14, table. Okay, so that number finds its way in there. You multiply it out, you get 296.90. Okay, so this is your payment. Your monthly payment is 296.90. So you can feel free and just fill in every month. We're only doing this for the first 3 months, even though if you do this over 3 years, it should be 36 of these guys, right? So 296.90, 296.90. Don't forget your dollar signs. 296.90. Okay. So you figure out the payment. That stays the same throughout the 3 years. Okay. Interest monthly. This is the monthly interest, right? This is the I is equal to unpaid balance, right, times interest rate divided by 100 divided by 12. That's how you come up with this value over here. I know this is small, okay, so it's unpaid balance times interest rate divided by 100 divided by 12. It's the exact same formula I've been giving you for interest. This is the monthly interest, right? You figure it out this way. Okay. Let me zoom in a little bit. I think I can do a bit more. The monthly principal, because these two, the monthly interest and the monthly principal, these two components always make up your payment. Okay, so to figure this out, right, to get the monthly principal, I'm just going to go payment minus interest. That's how I'm going to fill in this chart. Okay, and so let's go ahead and do the first one here. Whatever you do, folks, this number is going to be smaller than this. Okay, you're not going to use a table rate. You're not going to do anything like that. You're just going to go, I'm just going to fill out the first one here. Unpaid balance, in this case, is 10 grand. You start off with owing all of it. Times the interest rate divided by 100 ends up being 0.0425. Right? And you divide that answer by 12. So if you do that, right, 10,000 times 0.0425 divided by 12, you have 3542, right? 3542. You round to 2 decimals, right? So that is your number going in there. So out of this payment, the first month, this much is going to go towards their profit. The bank profits 3542. And how much is going towards the principal? Well, you will go 296.90 minus 35.42. I'm not always going to show you these steps, but you know you're learning how to do this. So I'm literally going to go this minus that to give me this. Okay, 296.90 minus 35.42 is 261.48. So, and these numbers should always add up to this, right? If I add up, right, 8 and 2 is 0, that gives me 10, right? 4 and 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, I get the 90 there, right? And then so forth. You should get, these two should always add up to that. Unpaid balance. So the first payment, you take it off your paycheck, they say thank you very much. This goes towards paying off your balance. So I'm just going to do this, minus 261.48. I'm just going to go this minus the principal of your payment goes towards paying off your unpaid balance. Okay? So 10,000 minus 261.48, that is 9,738.52. And the saga continues, right? It just keeps on going the same way every month. All right, let's do, so this is the first month. It breaks it down. Payment, it breaks down into this. This is now gone. This goes towards bringing down your balance. Now you owe this. So the second month, right, I'm using this formula up here. The unpaid balance is now 9738.52. The rest stays the same, right? The interest rate is still 0.0425, and you still divide it by 12. Okay, and that gives you, right, I'm going to go 9738.52 times 0.0425 divided by 12. You get 3484, right? Which is exactly what we expected, right? We expected, right, this number from one month to the next to go down slightly. It doesn't go up by a whole lot, down by a whole lot, but it does go down. Now I go to my monthly principal, and that is again 296.90 minus the 3484 in this case, right? Yeah. Did I? Oh. Yes, so this is different, right? Okay, hold on, guys. I got called out on my mistake here. I'm going to go back to, so this checks out. Then over here, I got to go, I got 3449. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, my bad. Hey, we want our money back, right? We don't want to pay the extra there. Sorry guys. So that means that 34.49 goes over here, and that is 34.49. My bad. Okay, 34.49. Let's try that again. That's 262.41. Don't forget the dollar sign. So again, these two make up their payment. And the principal portion of that payment goes towards knocking down your unpaid balance, right? But you still owe them. So that's 94.76.11. So 2 months is done, right? Obviously they use spreadsheets for this. They don't do this for every month. They have a computer that does all of that, but this is how it works. And they want us to teach you that. Okay, so let's put it this way. We've done 2 months, right? How much interest have you paid now after 2 months? Not 34.49. You have paid 34.49 plus 35.42. Like so far, these two amounts tell you how much you've paid in the first 2 months. Okay? How much principal, how much have you actually paid off of your loan? It's these two numbers here that tell you how much you've actually paid off your loan. Okay? And what gets confusing is because sometimes they talk about unpaid balance, they refer to that as the principal as well. But that's like capital principal, like that's like the big amount you owe them. And then there's a lowercase principal, which is the monthly one, which changes every month, right? So you gotta just keep that in mind. So let's do one more month here. I take the unpaid balance, which is now 94.76.11, and I still multiply it by 0.425, and I still divide it by 12. 94.76.11, and that is 33.56, which means that this is 296.90. And you don't need to show this work later on when you fill these in, like on a test or whatever. Just type in the number, and away you go. That's 263.34. And so that means that my loan is now going to be that much less. That is $9,212.77. And here I'm going to ask you to add something. If you had a total here, total in 3 months, right? So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So let's say 3 months, we take a snapshot of what we've done, right? And you had a number in here, you had a number in here, and here. Just these 3 here. How much will you have made payments, like payments in 3 months? Well, it's just these 3 added up, or 3 times 296.90, right? So that would be $890.70, right, if you added these up. If you added up the interest you've paid over 3 months, that adds up to 103.47. Oops. 47, like that. if it asked you how much have you paid off in principal, like how much have you actually paid off, you add up these three numbers and you get 787.23. This is total interest in 3 months, right? Total principal in 3 months, right? So basically, it continues to be true, right? These two numbers should add up to the total payments you've made, okay? But what is true is that out of the almost 900 bucks that you've paid, 100 bucks never sees your account. They take that off. And so you really only paid off 787 so far, right? And that happens in the background. And this number, the closer you get towards paying off your loan, the smaller the interest gets, right? And you get to the last, the 30th payment, 31st payment, and so forth, it gets smaller. It's so small that it's mostly principal that you're paying, and so forth. All right. Let me see here. I think this is a summary of what we're doing here. And I wanted to add maybe, right, like that this unpaid balance kind of always finds its way into this formula here, and it really affects everything here. And then when you have another unpaid balance here, it goes back to the front of the line basically and finds its way there. So every month, basically, every consecutive month starts off with the unpaid balance on the previous month. And this could go on for 36 months, 60 months, whatever it is. We will never make you do that many. 2 months, 3 months is probably the most you can expect. Okay. So it's time to practice. So I'm going to ask you to flip to the back and do questions 1, 2, 3. And you have this to go by, right?